Welcome to this cozy corner of the internet. I'm very glad you have found your way here. So, today's video, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to make learn that nothing has to be perfect journal. That's what we're doing today. So, what you're going to need is some new blank journal. This is mine that I'm going to use. It doesn't have to be this big. Any size, whatever you want. Pages can be absolutely anything. They can be blank. They can be lined. They can have, graphing paper on it. Whatever you want, anything. And some markers, some pens. If you have just a notebook and a pen, take it. If you have just a piece of paper or 3 pieces of paper and a pen, let's go with that, right? Anyway, so the reason we're making a learn that nothing has to be perfect journal is because sometimes we really get stuck in thinking that everything has to be perfect, right? There's a lot of us perfectionists out in the world who have been somewhat taught to want to be perfectionists partially by school. Yes, no, maybe. Anyway, I am really excited because I had one of these journals a while ago, a really long while ago when I was younger, and it is an absolute mess, and it's so fun to look at because it's kind of like giving yourself permission to do everything wrong, like to cross everything out and to draw the worst circles and write the worst poems. And then you look back at it and some of them like give you such good inspiration and such good ideas. And it's just that permission to just do something regardless of like how it looks or how it turns out, right? Like whether drawing or writing or something. So it kind of allows you to open up your creativity more and curiosity and have some fun and play, you know? So I'm really excited. And I wanted to add that I have these quotes that I have written around my room or laying around my room sometimes. And each time that I add a new quote, it's usually because it's something that feels important to me in the moment. And sometimes I take some quotes away, other times I add some. Currently, I just have 3. So it's not like, oh, there's like a bunch everywhere. No. But one of the ones I have up right now, which is one of my favorite quotes ever, is this one. If you hear a voice say you cannot paint, then paint, and that voice will be silenced. It's by Van Gogh. And it's one of my favorite quotes because I took this quote to heart. When I first heard it, I was like, okay, so I'll paint. Because I didn't think I could paint. And now I think I can, which like I don't think I'm an amazing artist or whatever, but I can paint, you know, and I have fun painting and I love it. Like I love bright colors, and I just recently am taking a painting workshop and it's going well. So anyway, we can switch out that word paint into an infinite number of things, right? But for today, for this video, the thing that we're going to switch with the word paint is we're gonna say this quote in the following way. If you hear a voice say, you cannot be not perfect, then be not perfect, and that voice will be silenced, right? If you hear a voice say, you must do everything to perfection, then don't do everything to perfection on purpose. and that voice will be silenced. That's what I'm going for here. How's that sounding good? So, let's begin, shall we? Take your notebook or your paper. I have an array of markers and pens and pencils which you cannot see. But maybe you can hear them. So, the very first thing we're going to do is you're going to open the notebook and you're going to skip the first page. Our beautiful first page is going to be left entirely blank, front and back. Just skip it entirely. The reason I say this is because for a few people out there, this is going to make a really big difference, because I write a lot and I write in journals. And whenever I start a new journal, right, and the first page is blank, there's always this thought of, what do I put on the first page? Is it going to set the scene for the rest of what I'm going to write? Do I have to choose a theme? Do I have to choose a style on this first page for this journal? Do I have to choose a title? And the answer is no. Or maybe it's yes. Maybe it's yes, I have to, but I don't need to right now. So the first page being blank takes away that responsibility from me for the time being, at the minimum, if I'm ever gonna go back to this blank page or not. But that blank page, that first blank page, it's always there. If I want a title, if I want to write out a summary of what I wrote in the rest of the journal, I can do that on the first page. I can go back and I can fill it in when I know what I want it to be, after I've written everything else. It's so that I can just start writing on the second page and let it be whatever it wants to be. Though usually I never even go back to this first page, because it remains in its perfect state as a blank page, because that means that the very first thing that I started is perfect, because anything can still go there. So it's just perfect, right? So we're just going to skip the first page. We're not going to care. We're going to leave that first page. We're not going to touch it. The second page, we're going to use as our title page, actually. And the thing that we're going to write is, what are we going to write? We're just going to literally write the words, learn that nothing has to be perfect, okay? Because that is the goal of this particular notebook. And what you're going to do is you're going to tell yourself that you're not going to show anybody what's in this particular notebook. This notebook is absolutely sacred and safe, right? So you're not going to show it on the internet. You're not going to take pictures of something you made, even if you think it looks cool, and show it to a friend or post it somewhere. You're not going to be letting anybody read anything you write in here. Maybe you do that with your other notebooks, right? And that's perfectly fine. And this particular notebook is not going to be like that, right? So we agree. And we're going to write that to ourselves on the page after. We're going to be like, listen, this is for nobody to see but me. Okay? Okay. So, should we do that reversed? Let's do it the way I originally said to do it. So, we're going to write the title, Learn That Nothing Has to Be Perfect. And I want you to write it absolutely in a way that's not pretty, okay? I don't want you to write each word line by line. I don't want you to have all the words in the same line. I don't want you to use the same color for every single letter. I don't want you to have everything in the middle as like lowercase letters and only the first one as a capital, or like the first ones as a capital. You see where I'm going with this, yeah? So I'm going to do one. I will show you mine, right? This is not actually that notebook for me. So that's why I'm sharing it. I have one, right? And that notebook that I have, that is this Learn Nothing Has to Be Perfect notebook, I'm not sharing that one. So, but I'm sharing the process, and I'm sharing so that we can all do this together and have some fun. So, okay. Learn. Okay. Learn. Take the time to do this right now with me, okay? And if you prefer just to watch the steps and skip the doing in time with me, check out the description. I'll have the timestamps written out. But for now, I'm gonna use a whiteboard marker even on a notebook. And I'm also going to mix markers with pens and pencils. Learn that nothing has to be perfect. Oh, I'm going to use two at once. There we go. I'm going to use a colored pencil that I can barely even read. Nothing has to be, let's make that big. Oh, well, I'm not going to fix that because it doesn't have to be perfect. I made my B isn't perfect. It has a zigzag. I'm like, what? Okay, oh well. Okay, and then nothing has to be perfect. We're going to spell perfect wrong. There we go. Learn that nothing has to be perfect. And I'm also just going to number my words because I want to. How many words are there here? It's kind of 7. I don't know why I've decided to number them. Okay, so, and I'm also going to underline nothing. Okay, so here's what I have. Learn that nothing has to be perfect. Cool? And I'm going to make a big exclamation point at the end. Nice? Nice. Okay. So we have that first title page, which is wonderful and beautiful. And so now we're going to go to the next page, or even on the back, right? So a lot of times whenever some markers bleed through pages, we also don't like that. Right? We try to avoid that. Not anymore. Not anymore. Let those markers bleed through the pages and write on the back anyway and write on the front with more. Okay? This is the level of chaos that we are going to. So, I'm going to write that this is my notebook. This is for nobody's eyes but me. And I want you to find a way of saying that just feels like your own voice. The thing that I would just write is literally, I would write, this is for no one's eyes but mine, right? Or no one is allowed to see this but me. Like, this is my notebook, right? And everything behind this page is like safe, protected, whatever. And I would even like draw a door, a lock, whatever you want to do, you do you. Okay? So let's see. This is for my eyes only. You can draw the word eyes if you want. This is for my eyes only. No one is allowed to see this but me. There we go. Okay. No one is allowed to see this but me. And I'm going to draw that key because I like the symbolism. And draw a key that does not look like a very good key. Only I have the key. Okay. We're going to pretend the whole page is a door. Because that is something that I absolutely love. Just thinking of pages as doors. And that is an absolutely imperfect door. But it is a door. And that nothing has to be perfect. This is for my eyes only. No one is allowed to see this but me. Only I have the key. I think I'm going to write in big letters, if you are not me, stop. Let's just put that. If you are not. If you are not me, which is Janet. If you are not Janet, stop. Big, nice, what is it, hexagon? Stop. There we go. I'm going to draw some random zigzags and wavy lines. Sometimes the goal is to make it look like a 5-year-old did it, or like a 3-year-old even, you know? So here's my first page. I don't know if you can see, I think you can see, but there's like some of the marker bleeding through from my next one. Okay, so then I wrote this page, okay. If you are not Janet, stop. This is for my eyes only. No one is allowed to see this but me. Only I have the key. Okay. We make that commitment, okay? You can't, like, say that you're not going to show anyone and then write something amazing and then show people. If you want to show someone something that you've written in this notebook, right? Transfer it somewhere else. Because it is super important that we choose we're not showing this to anyone. Because like, I'm super creative and sometimes I love showing people things, even from, like, sometimes I want to show people things even from my notebook, from my learn that nothing has to be perfect notebook, because it just turned out really cool. Well, no. I type it up somewhere, I write it out somewhere else, and I can show people from there. So yeah, that's just how it has to be, so that we can fully get the benefit. Okay? Okay, you're with me? Okay. So we got the first part, right? We got the first part. We have our title, we have our safe protective mechanism, which is just the words, don't open this if you're somebody who's not me, and also just the choice that this is for my eyes only. So now, I'm going to turn the page. And let's start with making a list so that we have some ideas of exactly how to use this notebook. Okay? I did this my first time around. And it was a good reminder of what I could do so that I didn't forget. So I'm just going to write, this notebook is for, this notebook is for, and then make your list. Here's the things that I'm going to add. Imperfect circles. That's one. Imperfect circles. Crossing things out. This notebook is for crossing things out. What else is this notebook for? This notebook is for spelling things wrong. This notebook is for drawing realistic but completely unrecognizable drawings. Drawing unrecognizable. I didn't spell that right. Recognizable. Yeah, recognizable. Drawing unrecognizable drawings. Writing cringy or horrible poems. What else? It is for, what else is not perfect? For letting markers bleed through. It is for stupid ideas. It is for not following the lines. Breaking all the rules, not following the lines. We can write down, we can write backwards, we can write mirrored, we can do anything here. That is what all the fun is. Okay, so I've made somewhat of a list, and scribbles. This is for scribbles. This is for scribbles and scratches and for spilling water and coffee. Great. So if you have some other ideas, let me know what ideas you had. I'd be curious. Love to hear that creativity. If you want, you can just use the list that I just mentioned. Totally cool. And so now what we're going to do is we're actually just going to start trying some of these activities. That's literally what this notebook is for. You can take 5 minutes once a week. You can take 30 seconds. You can take 3 hours. Do whatever you want, right? The whole point is you have this notebook where the goal, the whole premise is you succeed by doing things wrong, by failing, by messing it up, by making a mess, by making it look like a 5-year-old did it. So one of my favorite activities, my first favorite activity to do is literally just draw a bunch of imperfect circles. Okay? Take whatever you want and just draw circles, and mine are okay sometimes, but I'm okay. So this one didn't even match, didn't even end here, and then this one's really small, and this one's really big, and then this one's like an oval, that's not a circle at all. This one Well, that's like a glob, and just draw a whole bunch of circles and like, oh, they can overlap with each other. Who cares if they overlap with each other? Just make them woo! Oh, I ripped my page a little bit, but that's fine. We're just gonna go with it. And so a great activity is just to choose any shape and tell yourself, draw imperfect, fill in the blank with your shape. And I prefer to title this, so I'm just going to write Imperfect Circles. My marker's running out of ink, but that's fine because I don't care. I'm not going to fix it with a different marker. We're just going to write it where it starts with a lot of ink and then fades out. So we have a lot of fading inks. I'm just going to have 4 of these, and they're not going to be symmetrical on the page. So that's one example, right? And we're going to have like a page where we just do all scribbles and everything. Yeah, so the first time around when I made this, I took a lot more time to make the imperfect circles, and I covered the whole page with imperfect circles, but I'm going to go with this is enough for now. If you just started the imperfect circles and you want to just like slowly cover the page in imperfect circles, have fun, do that. Either pause the video and come back when you're done, or just keep going with me and just do that later whenever you want. And just look at how fun this looks already, right? Like, look at how fun this looks. That probably sounds really bad on the mic. I'm sorry. But hey, it's okay for today. I'll try not to do that next time. Great. And so, yeah, you've done it. You have absolutely done it. You have made your notebook. Good job. So let me know. Do you want more ideas for activities to do with me in your notebook? Do you like this activity? Do you like this idea? And, if you made this notebook with me, are you using it? And yeah, I'm not going to do these activities right now, but I will list out a few that I've done before, just to give you some thoughts, just in case I don't make another video to do more of this, though I think I will because I find this really fun. But just in case, you'll have some thoughts. So one activity I absolutely love is drawing with your non-dominant hand. Now, if you are magical and can write with both hands, draw with both. Just do something that you haven't done either before or you haven't done a lot of, right? So I usually write with my right hand, and my non-dominant hand would be my left. So I draw with my left hand. I remember trying to draw a circle with my left hand. That, let me tell you, was hard. It was a lot worse than even the imperfect circles I made with my right hand. I tried to draw like all the little kid drawings, but with my left hand, like a flower, a house, a person, like a stick figure. I tried to draw a person with my left hand. And then I tried to write words with my left hand. And I had the activity where I tried to write mirrored, and I tried to write with both of my hands, or I tried to write just with my right hand but mirrored, or I tried to write backwards or upside down, right? And when you have a particular thing you're trying to do, and you haven't done it before, your brain's going to create more connections. It is literally practicing creativity, and it is going to make you more creative, right? Like the more times, like the more new things that you do that you haven't done, the more pathways there are going to be in your brain, right? Like neuroplasticity of the brain, how it just learns and grows, and you need to do new things. So this is not only helping you learn to not have to be perfect, it's also helping you be more creative. Okay, other ideas include doing one of those like question quizzes where the end is kind of like, oh, find out who you are type, but like type quizzes where it's like, oh, draw what symbol or animal you think represents you and then explain why, right? Do that in this notebook, because sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, I want a perfect answer. I need to know the exact answer. Whatever, draw 3 of them that you think might be the answer. Who cares if they're not? You can, if you don't like it, just take your pens, markers, anything, put a big X on the page and just cross it out, but don't throw out the page, just leave the huge X there on the page. Okay? Okay. Another activity you can do is invent something. Pretend to be an inventor. Invent something even that has already been invented. Okay? Yeah. In my first notebook, it was so interesting because for one of them, I was like, oh, I know what I want to invent. I want to invent the Create Shop, where everything is like regular like chairs and tables and desks that we use, but they all look so much more interesting and like design wise. Like for example, any chair for a kid, it looks like a cow. They're sitting on a cow. All the chairs are cows. Something or other like that. And then I had this other idea, like, wouldn't it be so cool if, and in this day and age, the answer to what I'm about to say is like, oh, AI could probably do that. And it's like, great. When I was writing this, we were not talking about AI. This was like some years ago, right? Like maybe a decade at this point. So maybe more. It was like, hey, what if we had this website where you could input however number of careers that you find interesting, however many, and it would output a new career that it made up for you that is like a mix of all the ones that you like, so that you don't have to do 5 different careers, you could just do one. And maybe you'd have to build a business to have your career exist, possibly, but you could have it exist as one career rather than as 5, but you could still be doing everything that you love within it. Something like that. It would make up a name, a title. It would also give you the individual overlapping. So like, let's say you chose 3 different careers, it would give you one that had all of them, but then it would give you the individual Venn diagram of like, oh, these 2 careers, this would be the new career for that. And these 2 careers, this would be the new career for that. And these 2 careers, this would be the new career for that. And then in the middle, ta-da, it would be the one with all of them, which now essentially is AI, right? So you could probably tell it that and it would probably give you an answer. I don't know how good the answer would be, but it would probably be there, right? So yeah, you can invent whatever you want, and you can also just use a ruler to draw lines, and you can use scissors to cut your paper if you want, and What else to make something imperfect? Literally write things and cross them out. Even if you like the sentence, or even if you don't know what to write, you don't have to think too hard. You can just write like I'm not allowed to cross things out, and cross it all out. Yeah, just cross it all out. And you can try to remember song lyrics and write them down when you know that you don't know the right words. And if you feel like writing something, like a story or a poem, write it. And know that it can be absolutely horrible. Or try to write the worst poem that you have ever written. Or, the worst story that you have ever written. And be like, ha ha ha, like, I don't know. What's a good example? I don't know what a good example is, because if I'm thinking in my head, I'm not writing. Yeah. What's the worst story? Just like, hi, Jim is blue and red is yellow. And then we found this Christmas tree, and Jim, who was blue, ate it, and that's the end of the story. No tiene mucho sentido. It doesn't have a lot of sense. So, yeah. What's another one? I think that's enough ideas for now. I think I've given you enough ideas to try and do things. And it's really fun. It's really fun, I'm telling you. It is so much fun. So, yes, thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for making your own Learn Nothing Has to Be Perfect notebook. I'm really glad that you did. And even if you didn't, I'm glad you sat for this video, because this is our cozy corner of the internet. We make things, I need to stop saying, we make things cozy and fun, sometimes philosophical, sometimes just funny. And yeah. If you have any questions, let me know. If you tried it, let me know. If you have ideas for activities, let me know. And if you want some more videos where we do some activities in this notebook together, let me know. Peace out. Bye. Oh, wait, one more thing. Imperfect circles thing. So, I have such a thought about that. The other day, I was thinking about imperfect circles, and I was like, what would be the world's most imperfect circle? And I literally spent half an hour or more, maybe an hour, I don't know, I wasn't looking at the time, trying to figure it out like a mathematical proof. Number one, what is the world's most imperfect circle? Is there a way I can figure it out? And number two, can I prove what I think is the world's most imperfect circle and prove that it is the world's most imperfect circle? So that's a whole other video, right? Which I don't think I got to a conclusion, but who cares? I thought about it and it was fun. Have fun. See ya!